Hello, everyone. My name is Amiri. Today, I will be discussing prenatal genetic testing. For those who don't know, prenatal genetic testing is the practice of obtaining and testing a fetus's DNA for signs of potential health risks or life-changing conditions. This practice allows potential future parents to make accommodations for their children before they're born or choose to abort the child if they feel they can't handle the child's condition. There are many concerns around prenatal genetic testing. However, most of them are unwarranted, especially because genetic testing is voluntary, highly beneficial to parents that choose to use it, and has easily understood results with explanations from professional consultants. Because genetic testing is voluntary, it'll only positively affect those who want it without negatively affecting those who don't. Those who need it have the opportunity to get prenatal genetic testing, and those who don't aren't affected by another person getting tested. Similarly to abortion, the fact that the mother's body is the only one affected validates the argument of my body, my choice, even more so because the fetus is unbothered by the test. No threat is posed to anyone uninvolved with the procedure, and all involved participate voluntarily. Furthermore, the existing threat to those involved is nigh ignorable. The mother and fetus are put at minimal risk and agree to the risk when following through with the testing. According to Norwell Health's Advanced Prenatal Genetic Testing video, the highest risk of miscarriage from obtaining the fetus's DNA is a 1 in 500 chance, with some methods dropping it down to 1 in 1,000. Any parent who views 1 in 500 as too high risk can refuse the test and follow conventional means of preparation for a child. So, in all, the testing is voluntary and only affects those directly involved in the test, putting them at almost no risk, assuming both the mother and fetus are healthy. Additionally, parents with conditions may be concerned that their child will be born with their condition, and with genetic testing can make proper preparations if that becomes a legitimate concern. Some parents may have a history of potentially deadly or unnoticeable conditions in their family, and now those parents will be able to determine if their child may have said conditions and take steps to ensure that child can live happily into adulthood. After getting genetic testing, parents will know the possible risks and what they can do to circumvent said risks should they come to fruition. Parents with a history of certain conditions can get genetic testing to see if those conditions are a potential concern for their unborn child. Depending on the condition of the mother, parents may recommend genetic testing. If the mother is above a certain age, her child may be at heightened risk of serious conditions like Down syndrome. According to Medline Plus's page on prenatal cell-free DNA screening, it's recommended women aged 35 or older get a genetic screening, as a mother's age is the primary risk factor for having a baby with Down syndrome or other trisomy disorders. The physical condition of the parents, especially the mother, is also a factor in determining if a couple may want to get genetic testing. Some parents may be better off getting genetic testing for the sake of themselves and their potential child. Should parents get genetic screening, some may be concerned that they may not be able to properly interpret the results, but that isn't a concern with the consultation that follows receiving the results. The responsible professional or professionals will likely give the test results clearly and understandably. After leaving the hospital, you'll be referring to the written results of your test, so you should be able to understand them without contacting your healthcare provider. Some people may have to read and understand the meaning of different results from the testing and re-explain it to themselves to match their specific thought processes. The results of the test must be clearly understood by any person with any mentality and perspective. When taking a test for something only you can solve or accommodate, it's a given that medical consultation will be available. Professionals will likely be in charge of giving you the results of the test and explaining what they could mean. According to the Cleveland Clinic's official website's page on prenatal genetic testing, after taking the test, your healthcare provider will receive the results and be responsible for sharing them with you. Your healthcare provider and other medical professionals will be available to explain the results of your genetic tests should you follow through with them. With medical consultation and intuitively conveyed written results, understanding genetic testing results isn't a concern. Now, some may argue that testing may not always remain voluntary, and while those people may be right, that can be said for anything new. If genetic testing became mandatory, it would still be a great thing for most people. The pros of genetic testing outweigh the cons, even after removing its voluntary nature. The genetic testing procedure is extremely low risk and provides parents with potentially crucial information about possible health concerns with their child. With the massive benefits and minuscule risk, genetic testing would still be a good thing if it became mandatory. So, while genetic testing becoming mandatory is a reasonable and realistic concern, genetic testing would still be a net positive if made involuntary because of the crucial insights it can provide to future parents. Like those mentioned here, most concerns surrounding genetic testing are undue. Some of the larger concerns, like genetic testing becoming involuntary, are entirely valid and even correct, but in most cases, the pros of genetic testing outweigh the cons that come with those concerns. And I hope I was able to convince you of that fact with this speech. Thank you for your time.